They want a romanticized experience, but it's hard to provide that when it's not necessarily the nature of this setup. You won't have like a personal interaction in the same way as with a waitress or something like that. So,
can you tell me a little bit about what you've been doing on Facebook and how that experience has been for you?
I just put updates that seem relevant, but I don't really know. I guess I just feel like I understand Facebook better than the other social networking sites. Like, I utilize it more personally, and so I understand why people, like, what people are looking for. But because we're kind of a family-friendly place, and a lot of coffee shops aren't, we just share information about like activities that are happening. Like, we have 2 performances a week for kids. We have a playroom. But just when there are things that seem relevant to people, like we just are moving into doing more catering and cakes and things like that. My mother's the pastry chef here, so just letting people know some of their options and posting photographs of how nice everything can look if you order. So, just little things.
Do you have a lot of your regulars interact with you on Facebook, or is it mostly mostly a publish medium for you?
No, a lot of people. I would say a lot of people interact. Not like hundreds of people a day, but like you see your impressions and then the proportion of responses. I guess it's a percentage of responses based on impressions. But yeah, I think it depends on the content too. Like if it's something new or like a new product or something people would be excited to hear about, and then a lot of neighborhood stuff. Like I know pretty much everything happening in the neighborhood, and so when I tell people like today the Budweiser Clydesdales are going to be here, they should be here now. That it's like a lot of people in the neighborhood didn't know that, and we're not even facilitating it, somebody else is facilitating it. But when I told people, it spread a lot faster because I have a larger following than a lot of the other businesses on the street. So just things like that, they respond more to that. So.
Okay. If a business were to contact you and say, I'm thinking about running a Groupon, what advice would you have for them?
They probably shouldn't call me because I would say don't do it. I would probably refer them to your blog because I think it's easier to read something succinct like that than it is to get in a conversation about it. Because obviously my experience is going to sort of color anything that I say. But yeah, I would probably just refer to something like what you wrote because I don't and say I agree with this. Because I think there were good ideas in ways that I could have done things differently. Small things. I don't know if in general it would have changed our losses necessarily, but we would have maybe been able to capture more people's attention. But yeah, I don't really know if I would have too long of a talk about it.
Have you done any other forms of advertising, like print or Yellow Pages, newspapers, any of that sort of thing?
No, we actually never did any advertising. We just did stuff with, I'm head of the business association, and so we did like a neighborhood ad, because our neighborhood's kind of tucked away in Portland, so we did like a neighborhood ad of businesses were listed on there. So
got it.
I just participate in those because I'm obligated.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for your time. It was great to meet you.
You too.